I'm ready.
Welcome. Thank you for joining my channel. Like, subscribe, and comment. Today's episode topic is loving a stone. Wow. You would definitely say loving a stone is what? The rock that you find outside. You can either use it as a weapon, a piece of art, or a paperweight. But today I'm speaking about loving a stone when we speak about loving a narcissistic person. How do you do that? Well, that's what my experience is here to tell you about. So let's talk about loving a narcissistic person as loving a stone. Even though we might express our opinions and our admiration and affection towards these people, it's not really condoning them. It's basically telling them the love that they give us is basically good enough and we're able to accept it. Most of us do not find it as comfortable to love a stone. Most of us find it as a fear. My fear, my experience was loving someone that wasn't reciprocating the same type of energy. Reciprocity is the most important thing that we all need to have in this universe, especially if you're an empath. But today I'm here to tell you that my experience has been really a dreadful one, but yet I overcame. Let's speak about how we overcome these narcissistic stones in our life. Number one, when a narcissistic person tells you that they love you, they're not eventually telling you they love you to make you feel comfortable. What they are telling you is they love the idea that they're able to use you for their self-benefit. A narcissistic supply is basically you becoming their supply, and when they finish using you up, they go on to the next. They like the praise, they like the worship, but they'll never retaliate with that same type of gesture. One thing I could speak about as loving a narcissistic stone, well, for instance, I loved the fact that they loved me, okay? I never understood what was the real reason why they loved me. Come to find out, the love that I was absorbing from them was basically a standstill of, I love you because you allow me to use you in this concept. You allow me to use you in this situation. The love was really never genuine. See, when you're loving a stone can either be your worst enemy or your best friend. Now, when we gratify these stones, we're basically co-signing and enabling their actions. Most of the times, you want to stay away from them, but it's kind of like feeding a hungry cat. Once you give it some food, it's always going to come back for that food. When you give off your affections, you are supplying the narcissistic person with food of attention, food of love, food of everything that their hearts want to desire. But when it comes to you, there's no reciprocity. There's no reciprocal energy. So today we're going to talk about how you can overcome that stone and still love yourself. Rule number one, remember that you are worthy and that you are valued. In this universe that we live in the higher powers that we serve, teaches us that when you are around entities that have those spirits of narcissism in the Stone Age, okay, you're really coming into a universal dimension where you're seeking out the true purpose of life and what it has to offer. When you involve yourself with people that have that stone characteristic, okay, that narcissistic energy, you are not only allowing them to drain you of your life force, but they are actually absorbing your life force and not retaliating back, because you want that energy that you're receiving and giving, and no one loses out. Everyone's happy and high off of life and good to go. But when you're loving a narcissistic person, like loving a stone, you're not only being drained of that energy, but not only are they using you for that energy, but once they use you up, they're on to the next source of energy. Overcoming loving the stone, it's really a hard decision, because you want to find that good faith and that good priority in that person. But after a while, when you notice that the manipulation starts to tunnel and you get that tunnel vision into that experience, you start to recognize and understand. The second thing that I want to speak about with loving a narcissistic person and a stone, remember, your feelings are not considerable. Your feelings does not matter. Only thing that matters is you praising them and giving them what they want, which is their narcissistic supply of boost ups, egotistical, sociable, all about me, 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 me. Now, what do you do when you run into a person with those characteristics? Do you say, hey, I give up. I want to walk away. This person's draining me. I can't take it no more. Oh, man. But you got to remember something. That energy alone is a fear that needs to be faced, because a thief doesn't rob an empty house. So as long as you allow the narcissist or the stone to take from you, they have an advantage. But if you can teach the stone that he's only able, or she is only able, to have a certain supply from you, they can't overtake what they don't deserve. Another thing, number 3, having a stone as a parent can be a difficult stage as well. A narcissistic parent makes a child that doesn't have enough confidence in the future. It makes them feel like they have to be perfect with whatever they do, because this narcissistic parent has not only brainwashed them to believe that perfection is key for everything, but never giving you a chance to make a mistake. And it's a really hard factor that we all in this new day of age we deal with. But you have to remember, you cannot change a person's ways unless they want to change for themselves. There's no possible way that you can change a narcissistic stone. This stone is basically set there for you to learn how to overcome those characteristics, or you can learn from it and move on. No one ever says you have to stay stuck with a person that carries a heart as a stone. When you carry a light heart, you kind of want to forgive that person for their actions and believe that they can change. But we all know, in true reality, that's not true. This person, this narcissistic stone, would have to want to change on their own in order to see the light of what you carry. You see, a narcissistic person is only after a light that you abide in. And once you carry that light within inside of you, this is something that they want to dim, because this is an inside pain that they cannot face on their own. So as long as they carry the pain, they want you to endure what they are enduring. The most important part is, don't absorb that energy. Don't let that energy absorb you. Converting negative into positive is the highest key of nature to keep love conquering all. Loving a stone can also be your boyfriend. Number 4, it can be a spouse, it could be your husband, it can be a friend that you've dated for a really long time, and you're trying to decide whether or not if this person is for you. If the narcissistic stone keeps coming up with excuses about, well, maybe I'll give you a chance if you fit. When a person says they want to see if you fit, they're basically telling you subliminally that if your supply is good enough for me and I don't find anything else better, then I might keep you around. Be careful with the key word, keep. Be careful with another key word, fit. You do not want to become someone else's battery to recharge them. You want to be able to have a free relationship without it being conditioned. More so, just being on your own accord is what makes things better. The most important thing that you can do when you're loving a stone is remember to love you first. Because once that stone sees that you're only dependent on their validations, they know that they have an easy prey. You don't want to become that easy prey. You want to become a standstill on your own. Number 5, learning how to love a stone will consist in taking the time to have patience with this person. Because loving a stone is not easy. I told you in the beginning of the segment, a stone can be a paperweight, it can be a weapon, it can be a piece of art. It's how you look at the stone. For me, my stone, my experiences with this stone basically spoke about me learning how to overcome the characteristics. So when I did see something that made me uncomfortable, I had to remember, you don't give it the energy and you don't feed it. You starve a narcissist of his supply to remind him that it's not about them or she. It's not about them. It's about each other. Reciprocality and reciprocity is the main key of loving a stone. And if you have the courage to stand up to someone who has those characteristics, kudos to you. Good for you. That means you faced your fears and now you can let the universe work for you. And the most important thing about loving yourself when you're dealing with a stone, remember, they didn't come for you because of something that you had. They came to you because of something that you did. So if you were able to give them that feeling that they haven't had ever, and they want that supply generally all the time, you have to remember what percentage that you put into that energy with that stone. You don't never want to misuse yourself or drain your own energy by giving someone something that they don't deserve. Key example. When you start to love a stone, you give him time to figure out who you are, or she figures out who you are as a person. Remembering that only thing that can be taken away from you is the power that you allow to be taken. You don't never have to worry about someone having power over you or anything over your head as long as you are in control of your moods and your feelings. Self-control is an easy thing at most points in your life if you have moderation. So the self-control with moods, appetites, thoughts, and feelings. Moods and feelings are two different things. Moods is the characteristic of the brain telling you what your feelings are, and feelings are something that is made inside from your thoughts. So at the same time, you want to be focused and make sure that you have the understanding of that stone. Take a trial with this person, even if it's a yearly trial or a 7-day trial. As much energy as you can consume and as much energy as you can give, that's your understanding of how you would see that person. If you can't do the trial for 7 days or a year, fine. You lived and you learned. But remember, not everyone is perfect. So when you do run into that stone, just remember, you have the power, you have the key, and what can I say more? Don't I make being awesome. Don't I make being awesome. How did I go? How did it go, Siobhan?